am a slave.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers, especially my younger brothers. I am going to show you my Saturday meals. So I'm now going to start doing a small little effectively video blogging involving what food I eat and how I cook it, and yes, inside my rice cooker. So I'm going to go through this step by step for you and for your benefit to show you young men how men should cook and how they should eat. There is no question that men should learn these very trades because, quite honestly, you're not all guaranteed to get married. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this open. I'm going to split the actual chicken so I can then slice it, as I'm basically going to slice down it to maintain a healthy thing. And then I'm going to transfer it to the pan and I'm going to add some spices to it. I'm going to do this off camera because I've only got one hand. Since I'm going through this as if you have never cooked in your entire life, this chicken piece is too big for one person since I'm basically teaching you to cook from one. So what I will do is I will cut that in half and I will then slice it down the sides so that you can observe it. But basically that's two portions, that's 2 meals sat there. So each one of these trays up here has effectively 4 meals for you. So this is 1 meal going down at the moment. Now I will alternate tomorrow when I do fish, and I'll also upload that video. So I've now cut this that massive piece of chicken in half, which, as you can tell, does an excellent job of what it does. I'm now going to score this chicken, and then I'm going to add the spices that I'll transfer to the pan. Now, everything I'm using here you can buy from Morrison's. It's straightforward. I do most of my online shopping so I can get it delivered, and almost 99% of all the ingredients in this meal, and most meals I use, will come from Morrison's. So I've now basically cut rivets into it so I can make sure my spices will be massaged very nicely into it. These are the spices I tend to use. Now, the bottom one here, the Ajuan seeds, you'll see that in your mother's cupboard. Ground coriander, ground cumin, chili flakes, garlic salt and garlic pepper. Now, almost all of these and much of what I use in terms of the food will be seasoned onto this. Do not add any fatty oils. Try to avoid things that are going to eat up much of your weight loss. So if you're trying to eat healthily, you will want to avoid oils, fats, butters if you can help it. Once your chicken is entirely done, I'd highly advise you, it's not entirely necessary, but I would highly advise you to wrap it in tin foil because it allows it to cook through far more thoroughly and keeps the flavours and juices in together and basically stops it from drying out. So lads, in most rice cookers you will tend to have a measuring pot that exists. Since you're doing a meal for one person, I cannot overestimate that you do not need more than 1 cup of this small rice. I kid you not, because when you add all of the vegetables and mixtures in, that is literally enough, and probably that's a bit too much. But genuinely speaking, 1 portion of one of these small cups, as you can see in measurement size, is enough to feed a single human being. This is my General Morrison's chicken stock. Does put wonders when you stick it in the actual rice cooker alongside all the water. And again, you'll use 1, maybe 3 of these cups in water. So what I will do is I will then transfer that into there. I would then add 3 cups of water. I would then use my turmeric. So my turmeric goes on first, basically, and then that goes in so that the rice slightly cooks. Then I chop all the vegetables as that's cooking slightly and put those in so it all cooks off. So you will get a good idea of how much of this stuff is generally cooked. I cannot stress using garlic enough, boys, because it will clear your arteries. It will help with weight loss and everything else. Mushrooms, always use raw ingredients, and especially hot chili peppers, because let's be honest, it clears the digestive system. Tomatoes, fantastic. Onions, fantastic. Mushrooms, garlic, chili peppers. And that's all you need to add to rice. So this is the kind of consistency you should generally be looking for as the water boils off. And it will boil off after a while. And you're looking for this beautiful yellow colour, my brothers, for those that are learning how I'm this. The rice cooker is brilliant because it will provide you a meal. Now, yes, they're not cheap. They genuinely can go from easily anywhere between 50 to 80 pounds, but they are absolutely worth their investment when you come into account of the fact that most Arabian and Muslim families eat rice. Almost all of them do. So I cannot stress how valuable that is. So here comes the time and the proof of the pudding. So your meat wants to look really, really well cooked through. Pick up a knife. And this is one of the reasons why you slit the sides, so you can actually examine inside the actual chicken without overly, you see now I can't even get damn thing open. But ideally you want to be able to check so you can look at the sides in the chicken itself and grant you an access to... So to grant you access so you can just lift up the chicken part and actually have a examine of it. And if it's white all the way through, your chicken is cooked. With the spice, with everything else involved. And then you just serve that with the rice. And here is the final product. You have your rice, you have your chicken, and this is a meal that can sustain any adult male. You don't need to have an excessive amount of food, and you don't need to add any additional calories or items to it. And that will comfortably hold you young men easily until breakfast. Alhamdulillah, it's been a pleasure showing you this.
I am a slave.